even if
Well, you
it's.
have a lot of Canadian friends. I'm sure they have a lovely whoever for, I don't know if you're even in a relationship, but I'm trying
I
to set you up with a Canadian.
First of all, I am not in a relationship. Second of all, I super appreciate that because the amount of friends I talk to, I'm like, look, sister, you know, aunt, I don't care, grandmother, I don't care. Let's do this. Just
Right.
get me up there. Welcome, everybody, to Casting for Two, the podcast, as always, hosted by me, Chris. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 397, 3 away from the big 400. Hi, everybody. Wow, that was an explosive intro. Not gonna lie, today's episode is super hot and super amazing, and I don't want to toot my own horn. I don't like tooting my own horn, but I feel like it's super funny. But before I go and talk about the guest, I gotta say, once again, the mottos of the podcast, wear a mask. Everybody out there, please put on a mask and be courteous to others and treat other people decent, because we all share this planet and we should all band together. Those are the two mottos of the podcast. Wear a mask and be kind to others. The third one, I just adopted last episode. Go out and vote. You don't like how things are being run, go out and vote. Make your voice heard, all right? That's all I'm going to say. But my guest today is an amazing person. So much fun listening to this. And, listening back to the episode, I just had a big old smile on my face, and you know what? It's because of this guest. It's her fault. It's all her fault. No, I'm just kidding. She is amazing. Tonya Cornelisse is on the podcast, and she has such an incredible background of work that I'm super envious of. And just from acting to voiceover to sketch comedy to just being awesome, all of that. But you know what? Honestly, I'm excited for you guys to listen, so I'm going to shut my mouth, and we're going to let Tonya take over, all right? She's going to have the episode, all right? So everybody sit back, relax, and Tonya, take it away.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Hey, Tonya, I'm doing well, and you?
I'm good. I'm in London.
Oh, okay. Is that, did you just get there, or have you just been hunkered down?
I've already done my quarantine. I got here about I got here on August 12th. So
Oh, okay.
yeah. So yeah, I'm here for a little jobby, and also I have citizenship here, so that's always great too. And I'm really happy to not be in America at the moment.
What are you talking about? America number one.
I know. Oh,
Ugh.
it's such a shit show. I mean, the world is a shit show, but America's leading the way.
My God. Sure, the whole world's shit. Yeah, I'll agree with that. But yeah, no, the biggest shit show is certainly here.
I mean, it's got a large lead.
Oh my God. And I was talking because I have a lot of Canadian friends, and
Yeah,
I
my
remember.
husband is actually in Toronto right now doing a movie, but go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
No, I was just Canadians are awesome, so good for you. But I remember when, and I'm not going to get overly political here, but I remember when somebody who shall remain nameless was elected to some office, which I will not say. A lot of my Canadian friends, who were in the States were like, well, I'm moving back. And
Oh
me,
yeah.
I was just like, I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, sure, it sucks. It's horrible, but I don't know what you're, and then cut to 4 years later. I'm like, you guys knew this all along and you
Yeah.
didn't warn me. How dare you?
No, there's so many people. So my sister is married to someone with Spanish citizenship,
Hmm.
and there's so many people I know that are making arrangements in case it goes wrong in November.
Right.
So many people that like my parents are in Michigan right now, and my dad's like, "How do we get into Canada?"
Well, yeah. And then I remember at one point there was this website where, for people who wanted to immigrate from America to Canada, it was like a marriage like service or something like that where Americans
Mhm.
can marry somebody and then move up to Canada. Oh, that's a funny thought. Ha ha ha. Now I'm just like, is that still legit? Is that
Oh,
offer still on the
yeah.
table?
I'm so lucky. I mean, my husband's in Canada for a movie, but he was born in outside of London,
Mm.
and he's we're both Irish, but he's got British citizenship, and we've been trying to get our Irish citizenship. But I got my right after we got married. I don't know. I must have had this like great intuition. I was just he's lived in the States forever. He has both U.S. passport and British passport. And right
Mm.
after we got married, I was like, I'm getting a fucking British passport. And I did. I was like, it was hell, but I did it. And I didn't even have a really good reason to do it.
I'm just like, yeah, why not?
Yeah, it was the best thing I ever did.
God, and then for the longest time, I went to school up in Canada. So that's why I have a huge love for Canada. And I
Yeah.
tried so hard to get, a work permit, a green card, just like
Yeah.
anything so that I could continue being in the place that I loved. And I hit nothing but roadblocks after
It's
roadblock. And
really difficult to, I mean, like, but now, I mean, more than ever, anyone who's like went through hell to get a passport,
yeah.
wow, you did good.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm envious of yours, even if
Well, you
it's
have a lot of Canadian friends. I'm sure they have a lovely whoever for, I don't know if you're even in a relationship, but I'm
I
trying to set you up with a Canadian.
first of all, I am not in a relationship. Second of all, I super appreciate that because the amount of friends I talk to, I'm like, look, sister, uh, uh, you know, aunt, I don't care, grandmother, I don't care. Let's do this. Just
Right.
get me up there, you know.
Totally.
But no, and there's no takers, and I don't think anybody knows how serious I am. Look, I'm a lover. I can make the best of any situation. I can find love in any situation. So you know what? Let's do this. And they
I
just
think,
laugh.
I mean, I'm sold. I'm sold on you right now completely.
Well, thank you. I'm glad. And you know what? I'm before we were talking before the call even began. My I have a dumb comedy brain. Let me just say that first and
Mhm.
foremost.
Yeah.
So whenever somebody calls, I always feel like giving off a snarky remark, like "Hello, Tanya," as if we
Oh
know
yeah.
each other in school and you did wrong by me. But
Yeah.
but I never want to do that because of course I don't know the other person.
Well,
But
I'll tell you what, I was a really ratty kid, and
mm.
if we did know each other in school, I probably did fuck around with you.
Well, I'm not going to do that now, but at least I know that, I can joke. So that makes me happy.
Yes, yes. Feel
But
free to bring on your ill humor.
but oh, well, okay, so I this is a loose show obviously, as you can tell.
Right.
I am curious though because one you worked on Parks and Rec.
Uh-huh.
And it's been a long time. I watched the show when it was first airing, and on it, I'm not a binger, so I don't go back and watch it over and over and over.
Yeah.
But who were you working with in your scenes? Like, who were you
Yeah.
around?
I was working with um oh my God, why am I losing her name right now?
D-
Jones.
oh, don't tell me Rashida Jones.
Yeah, Rashida
Oh
Jones.
my
I can't
gosh.
believe I can't remember that. And so I was mostly working with her, and I actually did 2 episodes, but they cut me out of the second episode,
Mm.
as happens in television. But I was trying to, I ran this, she was trying to start dating again. And I was a matchmaker, and I was trying
Mm.
to she was at my, she came to me, to get some dating advice and do this kind of speed dating situation thing, and I was really snarky to her and basically like made her feel like more like a loser than she already did. And yeah, it was really fun. I had a great time working on that show.
There's something about like Parks and Rec and The Office and like
Oh yeah.
Community, like those blocks of shows that were on was when I was just like, my goal was to work on all three of those shows,
Oh
just do
yeah. So
something.
I still have a goal, and it's back. And I'm going to say this out loud, put it out there in the universe. I've
All right.
never auditioned for it, but I don't even know. I've always said to my agents, I'm like, if anything comes up on Curb Your Enthusiasm, but I'm
Yeah.
such a fan of Larry David, and I want to work on Curb so bad. And now that he's brought it back, I'm like, I'm trying to find some secret way in, because it's really difficult to get an audition for that show, because it's such a
Right.
tight ensemble cast. And anyways,
Well, so
yeah.
what and please don't hate me, but I miss the whole Seinfeld phenomenon. I miss the whole Friends film like that. That
It
was
is
just
fine. I'm specifically Curb. I mean, I like
okay.
Seinfeld. I don't care about Friends like at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But so when it was when Curb came out and they're like it's Larry David, I'm like I don't what who that's a name to me. I don't know what you're talking about. And of
yeah.
course, as the years go by, I'm like Larry David, the guy who starred in the Three Stooges. Yeah, I think he's pretty funny. But now I feel like I need to go back and actually watch that show because it
You know what?
looks
Just watch the last season. It's
okay.
so good, and it kind of stands on its own because they took such a huge break. It was
Right.
off the show. It was off the air for years and years and years. And then this last season, it's F. I don't know if can I swear on here.
Of
It's
course.
effing great, and I have a dirty mouth. And John Hamm comes on and
Oh,
imitates it. It's so good. You could just watch if you don't, because I have issue committing to like binging and stuff like that
hmm.
too. When people are, I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. Never. And so just watch the last season. I think you'll be fine with that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I expect
Or
like
or season 6, because
see.
season
Okay.
was really special.
Okay. Okay. Like all I need to know is John Hamm's in it. That's all I need as an incentive.
Yeah, yeah, man, yeah. He's amazing in it. He's so funny. It's great.
It should be a crime to be that good looking and also be funny.
Oh my God, I
And
know.
and I and he's humble about it too, which also angers me.
I know. We get our hair done by the same person in South Pasadena. I'll leave his name out. But I came in the last time, like after I'm like, Ernie, I need a haircut so bad. And he was like, all right. And then I came in, and he's just doing one client at a time, like all this COVID protocols. He's got his
Mm.
own space, and stuff. And you're only in there and mask and everything. And he was like, "Oh, did you see who just walked? Or did you see someone walking down the street?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "John Hamm was in here before you, and we chatted for a while, so he left a little late." And I was like, "Oh,
You know that guy who just left and knocked you out over on the
yeah,
way out? Yeah, that was Ham. That was the
I know."
hamster. Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, well, so obviously we're in the times that we're in, and I'm curious. I have some COVID questions, of course.
Okay. Yeah.
Have you noticed, hunkering down in at home or self isolating? Have you noticed any like creativity spikes?
It's so funny you mentioned that. I was just talking to someone the other day. I'm one of those people. I literally had this conversation the other day that when people are like, oh yeah, well, I learned a new language and read 100 books and this and that. I hate those people.
Yeah, yeah.
And but that said, I realized like I'm so not that. I have my voiceover studios in my closet, and I spent hours in there. So I'm just going to tell you, this is going to sound, I'm going to sound like an arrogant jerk, but I did so much, and I never do this, but I think I went into that mode of actor being scared that I'm never ever ever going to work again. A, because there was no jobs and we can't do our job.
Right.
And B, so I went nuts. I have a writing partner, and we have a working relationship with Comedy Central. We wrote two they're in drafts, but they're solid animation shows with a pilot and a pitch and everything like that. Two of them are ready to go. And then I did finished up a series that I was doing that I helped create with just me and a couple other people called Sisters, that we sold to Amazon and is now streaming on Amazon. It's a short form series. And then I did this other sketch show I was asked to do called The Homemade Sketch Show, which was very similar to SNL from home. And that's how I was scouted. We started doing that, and we just finished our first series, which was 12 episodes, and it went to Buffalo 8, and they sold it to Tubi TV, and is now streaming on Tubi, which is a screening system similar to what's that?
Like a Hulu? Yeah,
kind of, but more like a Hulu and almost more like, what's the one with the O?
Oprah Network.
No, similar to Hulu. It's similar to Hulu, but it's a bit more. It's a lot smaller, obviously. Yeah. But Tubi TV, Quibi.
Quibi. Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
It's very similar. It's kind of their main competitor.
Gotcha. Well, so yes, you have been busy. That is legit.
Yeah, I did all that, but I didn't feel like that, and I did a bunch of audiobooks to just any job. Basically, I said yes to everything, and I went to town, and but that's so not like me. Like I got at the end of COVID, and I was pissed because it's not the end, but I was kind of like, I really just. Like about a month ago, like in August, I got really mad that I didn't just sleep the whole time.
Right.
I was like angry about it. And it was like, I wasted this time. I could have slept and watched TV.
That makes a lot of sense. Even sometimes we need to get our batteries recharged, but I do understand the whole, I don't know when I'm going to work again, so let me just say yes to this.
Panic. Because I'm not like normally like that. It literally came out of fight or flight mode.
Yeah. No, and I get that. I totally get that. And then you mentioned earlier that you are now in the UK, getting ready for work. Was there any kind of hesitance towards going back to set or anything like that?
No, it's a tiny job. Okay. I don't think so. Like for me, I love working. Mm-hmm. I just do. I mean, unless it's like some disaster, but the only it wasn't hesitance, but it was kind of like, everything just takes longer and is way more complicated, but it's that. Everybody's also just doing the best they can. So it's that or nothing.
Mm-hmm. And were there any kind of like new rules or training that you or even the cast and crew had to go through? Or a seminar, like anything?
Yeah, there's so much you have to read and sign, and it's so a lot of. I'm gonna just say like, dot the I's and cross the T's. It's just a lot of extra stuff.
Yeah.
Like getting your costume on, everything's in vacuum bags and, labeled, and then you try it on and take your picture and send the picture back to the costume. Or it's just everything that would be one step takes 10.
Right. Right. No, and that's the times, of course. But yeah,
Yeah, I
you know,
mean, I mean, I don't really know. I don't see a way around it for
yeah,
until everyone's shot up with with a vaccine that hopefully doesn't, make them grow another limb.
yeah. I don't know if I had an extra arm or an extra leg. I don't know. I think I'd be okay with that.
Right, right,
Oh,
right.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so I'm curious. Where did you catch the performer bug?
So when I'm was first born, and my parents were both busy and young, and did not and were trying to, make their careers,
Mm,
and they had me quite young, and they were both working and stuff. So my mom put me in everything. From I started dance at 2, and I would got really into ballet.
mm,
And then when we started, I got to a certain age, which was about 10. We started to perform, and I got cast in the Nutcracker. And it was semi-professional ballet. And I fell in love with performance, about with theater, with the theatrics of it, about when the lights go down, just how you can viscerally affect people in the moment. And then I had a drama teacher at school that really was lovely, and told me to audition for Steppenwolf and Circle Theater, these semi-professional
yeah.
theaters. And when I was quite young, and I did really well, and I just I started, at doing plays at 12, and I never stopped. And then I auditioned for Tisch early action program and went to NYU, and then I didn't want to stay. I wasn't into conservatory that much, but I loved New York City and
Hmm.
fell in love. And you're not allowed to with a city, not with a human. And you're not allowed to audition when you're there. And I did, and I got a show, and then I got kicked out of school.
Mm.
But I did go back eventually and like finish online. But yeah. And so I started working off Broadway in New York, and got, all the unions and stuff, and then moved to LA like 8 years ago, officially kind of 7 years ago.
Mm.
And yeah.
Okay. And so when do you find, because I'm just a like wonderful like wealth of talent that you have to pull from, whether it's like dance or acting, stuff like that. Do you incorporate that for any of your acting? Like any of the disciplines that you've learned along the
Um,
way?
yeah, I think, because I come from theater, I've done loads of off Broadway and on Broadway in New York City and Chicago, and regional theater, Humana Festival.
Hmm.
And I've always approached acting from a very visceral way, like a very physical way, like
Mm.
the way I'm Irish Italian, and I just am very expressive in my body. And emotion comes from that for me, just as a human being. So to tap into that is, I love to dive into, you're probably aware, like I do some not just your average bear characters. I like to dive into the deep end of things,
Yeah.
in the dark corners of things. It's my favorite thing to do. And I think I tap into that on a physical level. It allow for me, it is the gateway to the emotional world inside.
Hmm.
Oftentimes that's kind of where I go. So I think, like any kind of just being aware of your body, and your emotional, and your physicality, in terms of your emotions, is just ultra aware of that, because I started doing so much at a young age. I
Right.
think that just kind of stays with you. It's play. It's
Hmm.
childlike. It's like monkey bars or something like that. Like when you swing, or if you're, on the if you're in a stone bull fight, that's a different kind of physical energy than it is to hopscotch. And it really comes out of play with me. Like it's very, very childlike. I'm still 5 years old, basically.
No, it's amazing. You know, obviously, you know, actors, they have to open up their brain for character work and let something in that's going to stay with them, you know, stuff like that. So being childlike, of course, I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
that just means you're more receptive towards
Yeah,
things.
it's about storytelling to me too. I write
Yeah.
all the time. I've read something that went up to Sundance, and I've done a bunch of I've written a couple, webisodes for Fox, and just a bunch of I'm constantly writing, but it's because I just love the storytelling aspect of
Mm.
that, and with acting, that's that comes into the physicality. So almost like that.
And you know, when you go to, you know, certain darker characters and you're putting your body and your emotionals, your emotions behind it, is there
Yeah.
ever a moment when, all right, that's a cut and that's it for Tonya, let's have a good night? Do you need a moment to step out of that, or are you literally just like, hey, telling
It
jokes?
I mean, it depends on the character. If it's
Yeah.
intense, yeah, there's a decompression that happens for sure. It's usually, I usually probably like change very, very slowly in my trailer and take off makeup very slowly and methodically to come back to to the world of actual Tanya's world. There's definitely a decompression of it, and the more intense the situation, the longer it takes.
Mhm. Okay. And you know, as somebody who is a writer, do you ever, let's say you do a project that you really like elements of a character, are you ever like, ooh, I want to take this and use this in something that, you know, I write for myself, or you know, something.
Yeah, I think I probably do that on uh subconsciously
Hmm.
all the time. I think everything affects that. I write very much, and I guess I approach acting this way too. Same characters, archetypes. Like my mom is a very strong character, or like you have like an aunt or a
Hmm.
teacher or some weird kid that used to be friends with on the playground, or even an animal. There's characteristics of that, and I really go like, especially when I'm a good example of this to explain is I do voiceovers, and if I get like a character in voiceover, instantly try to think of an archetype, and it's
Mm.
usually someone I personally know, not like, but sometimes it's like Christopher Walken or something like that. But usually it's someone that you know personally because you know that person. But
Right.
yeah, I definitely tap into that. Uh and then just try to find that inside myself.
Okay. Okay. And you know, being someone who's acted in different mediums, theater, live action, and voiceover, was there ever an adjustment going from one to the other when you were first starting out doing it?
I think with the only thing that I'll say in that, um voiceover is just your voice.
Yeah.
So if I think if you're annoying the fuck out of yourself, then you're doing a good job. If like you kind of want to stab yourself after you
Yeah.
do it, and it's just part of that, but that means that it's going to translate.
Yeah.
And then with camera, I think because I come, my roots are theatrical and
Yeah.
in theater, and I think the only thing, it's not a difference of acting or anything like that, but in there's just you just have to, there's different angles, in when you're doing the wide shot and when you're doing the close up, it comes all from the same place, but
Hmm.
you just need to know, there's just a technicality to both. Like one, there's 500 people out there, and the other, you have a frame that you can't move an inch, otherwise you'll be cut off.
Right.
But other than that's just technical stuff. The performance inside and the is same on both.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. I always imagined, like a theater actor coming, only exclusively doing theater and then coming in to do some, live action or, recorded bit. And it's just, I always wonder if they have to readjust the brain for that because I don't like it. I need to project. Well, I mean, the camera's right there. You don't have to because,
Yeah.
the camera's there. The sound guy's above you. Don't worry about projecting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, there's that, but I think again though that's just like technical. Like you can
No.
do the same, to be or not to be if it's like 1,000 people out there in a meadow. It's the same emotional place that you would say it there, but it would just be obviously much quieter and more intense and just once you learn to I guess it's kind of just like I don't know. I've been doing it so long. Like I want to just be like, obviously, you just adjust. Like if you're,
Right.
but I don't think there's that much difference in terms of because I mean, theater acting is there's obviously like terrible theater acting in community theater and stuff like that. But if you're coming from a place of truth and a place of connection and being present and in the moment, I don't think there's any difference really. And if you're, I think it should adjust. There's more fun in film there. I mean, I love theater because you just go and you do the whole thing and that,
Right.
but there's more kind of there's play in both, but yeah, I think you just automatically adjust, and if you don't know, that's just because you haven't done it before. And it doesn't mean you'll just be told to shut up or like but yeah, it's just it's the same thing, but it's just you just have to know to adjust. And I just think that comes the only way to do that is just to be on. It's just to work, it's just
Right.
to after you do you can learn how to do that in one job. I don't think you need to like go to acting for the camera school. I mean, now everyone has to learn how to, do self-tape. So I don't,
Right.
yeah.
So I mean I went to film school and like filming that is like second nature to me. I do feel bad for actors that are just I don't know what to do. I need
They're
a
just
self
green
tape.
though. It doesn't mean that they
Right.
can't do it. They're just
Yeah.
green.
Now again, my snobbish. This is me. This is a me thing, and I'm admitting it right now. Like I always freak out when I just see like a cell phone being recorded, and I'm like, the
Yeah.
one half I'm like, I get it because that's all you have, or
Yeah.
cell phone footage, admittedly has gotten better through the years. That's totally
Yeah.
fine. I'm just like, look, we need this big camera. We need at least like 2 lights here, blah. And already I'm already thinking this is a production when it's,
Yeah.
a self.
No,
But that's where my
people.
brain goes.
Yeah, no, I love people like you because I'm not like that at all. And I have, those are I would have, if I knew you when I needed to pull favors,
Yeah.
I would come to you. And cause that's like, yeah, I totally appreciate that. But I'm not, it's not a one man band for me at all. It takes a village, if you're going to do something really, if you want to do something really well
Right.
and go, yeah, I think it's a creative collaborative effort.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And like, look, if you need any favors, you come my way. Hey, look,
Fun.
I can do I can do it all.
I love it. I love it.
But so if there's one thing that I love on the podcast, it's a good audition fail.
Yeah.
And I am just wondering if you have an audition fail story.
Okay. So this is the first that come to mind, but
Okay.
uh Yes, the answer is yes. When I started out doing theater, I was really, really, really intense. I still like to think that I am, but
Hmm.
I would go, I went to this audition and it was for the Classic Stage Company, which is an off-Broadway company theater in New York City. This is a while ago. It was a long time ago. And I mean, I wouldn't have changed a thing. I loved it. But
Hmm.
literally, I came in and they just weren't having it. I think if it was a different kind of, I was just in a different mindset. But I came in, and, I was just in that mood. And I was
Yeah.
like, it was one of those things that could have been in a Christopher Guest movie. I just came in and like my character was like this Helena Bottom Carter role
Mm.
at like in the depths of hell. I came and I slammed the door. I lit a cigarette, and this is a while ago, but still. And I lit a cigarette and put it out on a table, and was just like, man. And I left, and I was like, that was fucking dope. And I felt so great. And my agent calls me, and they're like, honey, the casting director was wondering if you were on drugs. And I was like, no, I was the character is on drugs. That was good. And I was still happy that they wondered that, but I did not get that job.
Yeah. Wow. Do you think, you know, had you done that maybe a year ago, do you think they would have responded differently?
I don't know. I do yeah. I mean, I also think that, yeah, I would have probably been a bit more. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't auditioning for Mike Lee or anything,
Right.
obviously. I think it depends I think you need to know your audience.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think it depends. But yeah, I think it would have probably been a little bit more uh
Acceptable.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know why. I mean, maybe it's just I don't know. Maybe it's just because people are more scared of me. I don't know.
Well, well, first of all, I'm not. Well, I'm not giving you an audition. Maybe that's why. But I'm not scared of you one bit.
Good.
But
Good. I'm not scary.
but and you know, you being an actor, I don't have to tell you this, but I feel like there's been this huge surgence of, oh, actors need to go to a certain place. We should probably let them.
Yeah.
Versus back in the day, it was like, look, it's a role. You say the lines, you get in, you get out.
Yeah, I never did that, say the lines and get in and get
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's adjusted to me. But I think a lot of things have, you know, there's no rules anymore,
right.
and I don't know if there ever was. I mean, I obviously never played by them, but yeah, I do, and I also think that there's so much more content out there right now that
Right.
people are much more willing to be in uncomfortable situations and go there. I think just as a society and as humanity, because that's where the world went. And so,
Right.
we reflect life, and life is crazy. So, yeah, I think it's just the sign of the times.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
But yeah, also, I think, yeah, I don't know. It's funny because, are you in LA?
no, I'm in Texas.
Oh yeah. I think in I think it's different in LA than it is in New York and
Mm.
London or it was a lot different because they're just the role of the actor. It's changed, but the role of the actor was kind of I feel like in LA more of about either being a celebrity or just like you said, go in and say the line whatever you're done. Whereas
Right.
in New York and London, it was very different.
It's
So
about the craft.
yeah, and you're respected like a doctor. And
Oh,
LA, I think, is learning or is a lot better
gotcha.
now.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's slowly learning.
Right. 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 So for the people at home who would like to keep up with everything that you're doing, watch one of the many projects that you have going on right now, or just follow you online, where can they do all that?
Yeah, I'm on everything. I'm so shit at Twitter. I just I go on there to read other stuff, but I never
Yeah.
post anything.
Yeah.
So Instagram, it's just my name, Tonya Cornelisse, if you look me up, and I'm on Facebook too. I post there, but I think Instagram is kind of my chosen social media medium.
Yeah. Yeah, no, look, I don't want to anger the Twitter gods, but yeah, it's blah, blah.
Yeah. I go on there to look at some comedians that I like Rob Delaney, and that's it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay, all right, nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for the wonderful chat. I really enjoyed it, and I hope nothing but the best for all your future endeavors and projects. And anytime you want to come back and just shoot the shit, please just say so.
Yeah, totally. I can't believe we've been on for 40 minutes. I'm so chatty. This is great. All right, Chris. Really nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Have a wonderful day and stay safe and healthy. All right.
Thanks. Back to you. Same.
Thank you. Bye-bye.